So yes, I sit here in front of a Sony FX30 saying goodbye to my Canon R5C. It's been real, buddy. Yep, I sold my Canon R5C and went and picked up the Sony FX30. And there's a couple of reasons why, and I'm gonna talk about it in this video. Now, if anybody knows me, I'm not a super specky person, so I'm not gonna dive into a whole lot of specs of this camera, as it's been out for a few years now, and I'm sure there are over 1 million videos talking about the specs. But I am gonna talk about some of the things that I feel is useful for me, and I'm gonna talk about why I switched. So the Sony FX30 is in Sony's Cinema line, and it's an APS-C crop sensor camera. Now it does shoot 4K 60 FPS, and it has the ability to shoot 4K 120, but it has a crop and there's no audio. I don't really use 120, but it's there if I need it. It also shoots in the very popular S-Log3 and S-Cinetone color formats. We'll talk about that a little later. I really love the small form factor of the camera. It fits in my hand nice. I know a lot of people were saying that it might be a little too small, but I have it with this cage on it, and it really just fits really nice in my hand. I mean, handheld shooting with this, I'm sure, is gonna be very comfortable and just better to use. The R5C was a heavy camera. But again, the camera was great for what I used it for. It is an awesome camera. I think it's a camera that's well worth purchasing. Just for me and the needs that I have now, the Sony FX30 kind of fits that a little bit more. It also has 422 10-bit color and has the ability to shoot in ProRes RAW if you're recording to an external recorder. Now let me talk about some of the reasons why I was very hesitant to switch to Sony. And one is, of course, Sony's menu system. Listen, it has got to be the most complicated, complex menu system out there. But I will say, after digging into it for a little bit, it's becoming easier. Now, there's a lot of different things to choose from, a lot of different formats. And for me, a lot of times that stuff just makes it way too confusing. Most of it is things that I will not ever use, but it does have some features that I know if it's there, then okay. One of the main reasons why I decided to switch to the FX30 from my R5C was the autofocus performance. The R5C is great as long as the lighting conditions are optimal. But if it's a little bit too dark or there's too much going on, the camera has the ability to just kind of hunt around a little bit. And I was recently on a shoot where I ran into this, and it almost ruined it for me. And for me, that was just kind of the last straw. Now, I don't want to make this an R5C dog video because the camera's great. It has great image quality. In most cases, it performed absolutely wonderful. And overall, I was happy with it. But I really wanted a camera where I didn't have to stress too much about the autofocus, so I decided I was gonna switch. The other reason is that because I'm so heavily vested in the Canon ecosystem, all I had was RF and a bunch of EF glass. And I knew that I can use an adapter to adapt to the Sony E-mount system, but I saw some reviews on some of these adapters that were a little bit sketchy, and I was kind of scared. So what I did is I went and picked up this little budget Viltrox 20mm. I'm gonna do a whole video on this lens because I've only had the camera for really less than a day, but this lens is performing well so far and I'm very happy with it, but there'll be a separate video about it. Now I have ordered an adapter. It'll be here in a few days, and I'm gonna try it out with my 24-70 and some other Canon lenses that I have, and hopefully I won't run into any problems because Sony lenses can be kind of expensive. Those G-Master lenses are, yeah, they're a whole house, man. Like you can purchase a house for what it'll cost you to buy 3 or 4 of those lenses. So yeah. Now I'm talking about S-Log. S-Log, in my opinion, seems to grade a little bit better than C-Log did. Now, again, this is just my opinion. It may differ for some of y'all, but I shot a few clips in S-Log3 and I had no problem coloring them. The noise was very minimal and it just was an overall good experience. With C-Log, I've had some issues with just too much noise in the shadows. I know the FX30 has great dynamic range, and I'm really seeing that when I shoot an S-Log3. Now again, the conditions are going to differ. People's experiences may differ, but for me, S-Log3 is just an overall better experience. So like I say, at this point, I've had the camera for less than a day. I'm gonna be doing a lot more shooting with it. I'll throw some little test footage on the screen now and let you see just kind of how it's looking, but I'll go a little bit more in depth a few weeks from now as I use the camera a lot more. I do have some client projects coming up that I'm gonna be using it for, so we'll see. But let me know down in the comments if you think it was a good switch or if you think I'm just a dummy and just should have stayed where I was at, all right? Y'all be easy, and I'll catch you in the next video. Peace out.